And for the second day in a row, Texas Republicans convening in an attempt to hold a legislative session to discuss House business, including a redrawn political map of U.S. House districts, which Democrats are opposing. 100 House members need to be present to resume business. Entity's Arlene Richards has more.
There being 94 members present, a quorum is not present.
Speaker of the Texas House, Dustin Burrows, on Tuesday adjourned a legislative session after a little over 10 minutes. The House was short 6 members for the necessary quorum of 100. Quorum is the number of members required to present for the legislature to conduct business. Texas House Democrats left the state on Sunday in an effort to break quorum during the Texas legislature's special session, which began on July 21st. 2/3 of elected members must be present to get anything done. Republicans hold the majority, but at least 12 Democrats have to show up to make a quorum. Democrats fled to blue states to block Republican efforts to approve a redrawn political map, which could increase the number of Republican congressional districts in the state. About 40 Democrats went to Illinois. Texas House Minority Leader Gene Wu said Sunday that this is the right thing to do.
We did not make the decision to come here today. We did not make that decision lightly. But we come here today with absolute moral clarity that this is absolutely the right thing to do to protect the people of the state of Texas. Their attempts to disenfranchise Texans is the tool they're using is a racist, gerrymandered map. A map that seeks to use racial lines to divide hard-working communities.
On Tuesday, representatives said they are going to fight.
So we do ask you to join this fight because we're defending the rights of all Americans to value their vote and never be discouraged by way of a map drawn to say that your vote doesn't matter.
Our Constitution is under assault. Voting rights are being completely violated. Now is not the time for one party to play by the rules while the other party has completely ignored them.
The Texas House Speaker said on Tuesday that he'll try again for a quorum on Friday. The 94 members present on Tuesday were excused until Friday at 1 p.m. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton accuses the lawmakers who left the state of dereliction of duty and says he'll seek a court ruling to declare vacant the seat of any representative who's not back to work by Friday. Arlene Richards, NTD News.
President Trump was asked today if he'll be involving the federal government or the FBI to return those Texas Democrats to Texas. He responded that the FBI may have to ultimately get involved. And official subpoenas for information about Jeffrey Epstein. The House Oversight Committee is requesting closed-door testimony from former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton and former President Bill Clinton, among many others. Others subpoenaed include former Attorneys General Merrick Garland, William Barr, as well as former FBI directors James Comey and Robert Mueller. The House committee is also ordering the Department of Justice to provide any Epstein files with victims' names redacted. Meantime, the DOJ is asking judges to unseal 5 days of grand jury testimony from the cases of Epstein and his associate, Ghislaine Maxwell. They noted that details provided during the grand jury testimonies have already been made public. Maxwell objects to the request, saying it would jeopardize a retrial. She's currently serving 20 years in prison. And President Trump says he was targeted by the nation's largest banks as he's reportedly set to crack down on debanking practices against conservatives. This comes as the Justice Department is ramping up investigations into the Russia probe. NTD's Mari Otsu has more from the White House.
I was loaded up with cash, and they told me, I'm sorry, sir, we can't have you. You have 20 days to get out.
Criticizing banks for discriminating against conservatives, President Trump says J.P. Morgan and Bank of America previously rejected him as a customer.
I said, you got to be kidding. I've been with you for 35, 40 years.
It comes as the White House is reportedly planning an executive order to punish lenders for such unfair practices. The order, according to the Wall Street Journal, will have the Department of Justice investigate banks to see if they are limiting a group's opportunities for political reasons.
But they discriminated against many conservatives. You know, I told that story, and sitting around tables with other people that were conservative or Trump supporters. I think the word might be Trump supporters more than conservative.
This is not the first time the allegations of debanking conservatives and crypto companies have surfaced. In March, the Trump organization sued Capital One, accusing the bank of wrongfully terminating over 300 of its bank accounts after January 6. Banks, meanwhile, have largely denied closing accounts for political reasons. In other news, the president applauding the DOJ's move to tap a grand jury to probe whether Obama officials broke federal laws while handling 2016 election intelligence.
They deserve it. I was happy to hear it.
Last month, the director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, declassified files that she said revealed a scheme to undermine Trump's 2016 election win.
There was a gross politicization and manipulation of intelligence intended to delegitimize President Trump even before he was inaugurated.
Meanwhile, President Trump weighing in on a potential successor for president.
Do you agree that the heir apparent to MAGA is J.D. Vance?
Well, I think most likely, in all fairness, he's the vice president. I think Marco is also somebody that maybe would get together with J.D. in some form. It's too early, obviously, to talk about it, but certainly he's doing a great job, and he would be probably favored at this point.
This comes after the president mentioned earlier today that he will likely not be running for a third term. Reporting from the White House, Mario Tsu, NTD News.
President Trump today vowing a federal takeover of the nation's capital, Washington, D.C., due to what he calls out-of-control crime in the city. In a post on Truth Social, Trump says many of the criminals in the district are young kids starting at age 14. He's urging the city to start holding them accountable like adults and, quote, lock them up for a long time. The president adds that he will exert his powers and federalize the city if this trend continues on. And Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu meeting with his security cabinet earlier today to discuss future operations in the Gaza Strip. This as reports suggest that Israel is now considering a full occupation of the neighboring territories, including in areas where the hostages are being held. In a statement, Netanyahu's office says the IDF is prepared to, quote, carry out any decision made by the security cabinet. And European allies are buying $1 billion worth of U.S. weapons and equipment to send to Ukraine. The move was announced today ahead of high-level negotiations that will take place later this week in Russia between U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff and Moscow. NTD's Washington correspondent Jack Bradley has the details.
Europe can ultimately defend itself long term.
Multiple European countries are purchasing $1 billion of U.S. weapons for Ukraine. Denmark, Norway, and Sweden announcing they would buy $500 million of U.S. arms together. And then there's the Netherlands, which is purchasing another $500 million of U.S. weapons. And these include air defense systems, ammunition, and Patriot missiles, all for Ukraine. Now, State Department spokesperson Tammy Bruce says that this move helps the U.S. defense industry, creates more jobs, and ensures the safety of Europe during this critical moment.
Together, these deliveries total over $1 billion of life-saving, top-of-the-line American equipment.
Now, you'll notice that President Trump has a different policy from the Biden-era model of directly sending U.S. weapon stockpiles to Ukraine. Instead, he's selling the arms to NATO allies who then supply Ukraine. Now, this comes as Special Envoy Steve Witkoff is expected to be in Moscow on Wednesday for high-level talks. Trump has given Russian President Vladimir Putin until Friday to stop the war or face secondary sanctions on Russia's trading partners like China and India, which continue to buy Russian oil. Meanwhile, the Trump administration is creating a task force for the 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles.
I didn't think I'd be here for the games in this capacity, but it worked out that way.
Their role is ensuring the safety of and logistics for LA residents and the millions of expected visitors. The now passed Big Beautiful Bill allocates $1 billion for this regard in terms of security, planning, and other related costs for the Summer Olympics. The State Department playing a pivotal role in this task force, especially in terms of visa processing.
This action highlights America's enduring role as a global leader and premier destination for international engagement, tourism, and sports diplomacy.
Following the announcement, Casey Wasserman, the president of the LA Olympics, thanked President Trump for his support and leadership in preparing for these games. For NTD News, I'm Jack Bradley.
And taking a look now at immigration, the next alligator Alcatraz coming soon in the state of Indiana. The Department of Homeland Security today unveiling a new immigration detention facility branded as the Speedway Slammer. Secretary Kristi Noem saying the detention center will house criminal illegal immigrants with an additional 1,000 beds added to its capacity. The Speedway Slammer will operate in partnership with Indiana Governor Mike Braun. And tonight, local police around the country meeting up with the communities they serve for a night of fun that comes once every year. NTD correspondent Jason Blair joins us now live from the nation's capital. Jason, tell us about this event and how it's going so far.
Hey, Steve. Yeah, things are going pretty good here. The local community is having a good time with the local police here in Washington, D.C. So this event is called National Night Out, and it is held usually on the first Tuesday of August all around the country in all 50 states. And there's really just a really good vibe here. People are having a good time. The website calls this event a community building campaign that promotes police community partnerships and neighborhood camaraderie. So I have a couple of clips from earlier when things just got started. Have a look.
This is about family, community, and law enforcement. This is about making sure that we are safe, that we work together, and that we respect each other.
Crime is coming down, and we could talk about crime rates, we could talk about community engagement, but tonight, I want you to emphasize and think about how special tonight is across the nation. Communities coming together with law enforcement, public servants, EMS professionals, fire, all to celebrate who we are as Americans.
It's so good to be out at National Night Out, see so many familiar faces, friends. I hope everybody is having a good, relaxing, it's a little bit cooler, and most importantly, safe summer.
And as you can see, there's a lot going on behind me. The police brought some different vehicles. You can see this big one is an emergency response vehicle by the Metropolitan Police here in D.C. And then there's different tents going around with all different kinds of activities, including games, music, face painting. They got pizza. I saw some kittens. I saw some horses. I even think there was a donkey here a little bit ago. So there's just really a lot of fun activities going on here tonight. And this is something that happens every year in August in many cities around the nation. Back to you.
Community policing, especially important, bridging understanding and mutual respect between police and the community. NTD's Jason Blair, thanks so much. Coming up.